Yes, today is the 5th of June 2013 and I hope you had a lovely day. Good evening and welcome to today's edition of Zoom in Africa, Beautiful Than a Flower segment. This is the weekly segment where we get to meet ordinary people who are influencing the society positively. I am Henry Maina.
Yes, of course, and my name is Florence Ndongo. Today, we meet one young man who has gone against all odds, from schooling without shoes, hustling for his college fees, and taking care of his siblings. Now, all of this has seen him stand where he is today.
Actually, the hustler we are talking about today is none other than Mr. Victor Rasugu, who works with the Network of Adolescents and Youth of Africa, in abbreviation NAYA, as a program coordinator. You cannot afford to miss this show, for the youth are privileged to have the guests of their choice and their own. Welcome to studio, Mr. Victor Rasugu.
Thank you very much, Henry and Florence.
Yeah. How has been your day?
My day has been good. We've lost one to Nigeria, but I have accepted the defeat and moved on.
Harambee Stars, you keep shining.
I mean,
keep
on playing.
Yeah, you know, that broke my heart. I wanted us to do something like what we did in Nigeria. You know, a lot of guys are saying in Nigeria we won, but yeah, it's called football, and you cannot rely on history.
Yeah, sure.
You are just as good as your last performance.
Okay.
But I know the youths are here and they're eager to know what today we are talking about on Beautiful Than a Flower. And you know, guys, the Beautiful Than a Flower segment is as a program designed to bring to you ordinary people in our society, but who have taken that extra mile to do extraordinary things in our society. And as you heard from my co-host, we have Victor Rasugu. He is the team leader of NAYA, and I know as much as we want to know him, and viewers at home, I know it's the same for you. So let's hear from the horse's mouth. Just tell us briefly, who is Mr. Victor Rasugu?
Thank you very much, Florence. Victor Rasugu is an award-winning entrepreneur, as well as somebody with passion for the young people, and who is able and willing to give young people that chance to make mistakes, and in the process they can be able to learn, to be able to improve the society. And the issues that touch my heart are youth empowerment and development, issues around maternal health and the newborn health, and sexual and reproductive health and rights, because then this really affects how the shape that our development take as a country and as a society. Yes.
Actually, this couldn't have come at a better time, whereby, you know, the maternal health and everything is, you know,
and I know all the mothers out there, or the mothers want to be like me out there. They're like, yeah, this is what we want in the country. But I also like how he introduced himself. He's an award-winning very interesting and very encouraging.
Sure. Maybe before we get to the award-winning, who is Victor actually before he gets to the award? What's the story behind the award?
I mean, Victor is one person who was born in the village. Then when we came to town, we lived in Kibera for some years before my dad passed on in 1986. Then we went back to the village, and I have not only read about poverty in books, but I've lived in poverty. I have known what it takes to go to school without shoes, and how to have a calico patched short trouser, and but besides that, I am always convinced that I can't change my history, but I can define the path that my future will take. So that has been the brief about Victor Rasugu, and somebody who also changed his career. I have done my parents' career, which I abandoned, and then I moved on and struggled to raise my own college fees and do the career of my choice, and here I am today, both an entrepreneur and somebody who is also passionate about the youth development in Kenya.
I don't know whether you picked this, the way he said, I did my parents' career or some sort of thing. Maybe please clarify actually what do you really mean by this?
I mean, my mother wanted me to be a teacher. I didn't want to be a teacher. So I went and completed that training for her, and then gave her the certificate, which I think yes, I gave her the certificate literally. Then I started again from scratch and enrolled as a certified public accountant, which I went on and did up to Section 6, then moved on to do Bachelor of Commerce, Finance option, and yeah.
Okay, the list goes on.
Yeah, and you know, many people who, when you talk about successful people who are doing something great, they always have a challenging life or background, some hardship and a lot of challenges. But there are those who make it and do something great with, maybe they learn from the challenges in life, but there are others who just die with it or just turn to other things as a young man or a young lady, maybe to prostitution, maybe to being a robber and other negative vices in the society. How did you manage to not just sit on the challenges but try and become somebody even if life was so hard?
I mean, to me, my background remains my greatest motivation. That one is my children must never go through what I went through, and even the other siblings and all those who I take care of. I mean, they don't need to go to school without shoes simply because I went to school without shoes. But the most important thing is about focus and what do you want to achieve in life. One philosopher, Michelangelo, says that the problem with the human race is not that we set goals too high that we fail to achieve them, but rather we set our goals too low that we easily achieve them. So to me is set the goals that I work towards tirelessly to achieve, and through that I'm able to define the path that I want to take in life, and also able to separate what will be a stumbling block to my career, and also what will lead to the success of my career. And the other thing is you're as good as the people you associate with in the community, and therefore one key thing that has really shaped me is role mentorship and coaching. I have very strict mentors and also very strict life coaches that every year at the beginning of the year I have to set my goals and do everything, including a financial budget to the goal, and share it with it, and they will critique it and you think you didn't do a good job, but at the end of the day they're helping me to shape up.
Okay. As he actually put it, show me your friend and I'll tell you what kind of a person you are.
Yeah.
And then he put it. Actually, I'd love to know, since now you pursued a career in teaching, and here you are taking the certificate back to your mom, was she supportive, or is she supportive of actually what you're doing right now and what you intend to pursue?
Oh yes, I mean, she's proud of me as her son, and I can say that without contradiction, because to me, I told her, I appreciate your efforts, however, I also had my dream, what I wanted to be, and that's how I transformed to what I wanted to be. But there are no tussle between me and her in terms of the kind of career path I've chosen. Yeah.
Wow.
That's great.
Yeah, I know our viewers back at home want to hear more about the story of a man who went to school to become a teacher, but later on changed. And now he will be talking to us about Naya. And I know guys out there, you may have questions, suggestions, but if you want to, just get in touch with us. If you want to ask our guest any question, just do so by sending us an SMS to
21144.
Thank
In
you.
other words, that's 21144, and we will start by to answer those questions as well as our guests.
The Network of Adolescents and Youth of Africa is a youth-led regional advocacy network launched in October 2001 during the second Adolescent International Conference convened by the African Regional Office of the Planned Parenthood Federation of America. So far, Naya has been implemented in Benin, Cameroon, Ethiopia, Kenya, Nigeria, Sudan, and Uganda since the year 2002.
I'm Francis Ode, and I'm working with the Naya Network for Adolescents and Youth of Africa. as a media advocate, and a media advocate, we actually respond to issues on reproductive health among the youth, where we urge or mainstream most of the issues that affect the young people when it comes to reproductive health and sexuality. And basically, as NAYA, we try to enforce or try to highlight issues on reproductive health to the policymakers, the leaders that are there, to at least make sure that as much as the leaders they respond to other political issues, they also work towards mainstreaming or making sure that the reproductive health and sexuality is integrated with the services that the young people in Kenya need.
NAYA aims at enhancing the capacity of youth advocates to understand adolescents' sexual and reproductive health and rights advocacy by enlisting the support of policymakers, opinion leaders, donors, the media, and like-minded organizations and individuals in advocating for reforms and implementation of national policies and legislation to improve the quality and availability of adolescent sexual and reproductive health and rights, information and services.
Actually, when we talk about reproductive health and sexuality, we as the advocate doing advocacy on reproductive health, we break down the issues. For example, maybe we can talk about gender and relationships that we realize that some of these things, they affect directly the young people. We can talk about maybe sexuality and religion. You realize that some of the religious beliefs or customs reject some of the things that affect reproductive health when it comes to young people. However, NAYA people also, we actually reinforce HIV and AIDS, how to tackle HIV when you are positive. How are you going to stay positively? How things when you get HIV immediately. When is the right time to disclose your status? Who is the right person to disclose their status? And at what time are you going to disclose their status? Or even the reasons as to why you're disclosing their status. As NAYA fraternity, that is basically what we do when it comes to reproductive health and rights.
We visited NAYA here in Kenya and found one Mr. Victor, who is a program coordinator and a team leader, who takes us through to know more about NAYA and why he chose to lead young people.
My name is Victor Rasugu. I work for Network for Adolescents and Youth of Africa as the program coordinator and the team leader. I joined the network in 2006, and over the years I've risen through the rank. And when we started, we were a small organization, but over the years we've been able to expand, and currently we have a presence in Nairobi, Kisumu, Migori, Siaya counties, and in the course of the year we'll be expanding to Nakuru, Eldoret, Meru, and Samburu with our intervention on sexual and reproductive health and rights. This is important to us because if you look at the young people, the sexual and reproductive health and rights indicators among young people are not pleasing. We have a lot of young people who are prone to incidences of unplanned pregnancy among them. We have issues on abortion among young people. We have the low uptake of family planning among young people, and we have inaccessibility of the youth-friendly services among young people. And we also have inadequate policy implementation, and these are the issues that really touch our heart as an organization, and more so as a young person.
comprised of young people, the network looks forward to seeing the best out of all those youth who are in their hands.
My name is Venoranda Rebecca Kuboka, a program officer at Naya Kenya in charge of media and partnerships. Basically, what Naya Kenya does is implementing policies that advocate for sexual reproductive health and rights among the youth. Our key focus areas include working with the media, that's one. We also do policy advocacy, which entails us petitioning policymakers and decision makers to enable them be able to commit towards promoting reproductive health and rights among the youth. Apart from that, we also have consultative forums and dialogues that we also use the same to reach out to the young people.
Welcome back, viewer. Actually, this is Zoom in Africa, and specifically today we are on more beautiful than a flower. That
Exactly.
is actually, and where else we get to do this? Where we get into zoom into the society, zoom in into Kenya, and then the whole of Africa. That is Zoom in Africa. Actually, today we are with Victor Rasugu, who is the team coordinator or the team leader of Naya. Victor, many a times dealing with the youth, and particularly these per se adolescents. How is it?
I mean, there's one thing, as I said before, that young people need some level of accommodation, that they can be able to mess it up before they learn how these things work. And they need somebody or